Takeaway.
Takeaway.
Let's have a takeaway tonight.
Take-home pay.
Take-home pay.
Taken.
Taken.
Take off.
Take off.
Take-out.
Take out.
Take out food.
Takeover.
Takeover.
Thornbury has announced a takeover bid of a regional TV company.
He prevented a hostile takeover of the company.
A communist takeover.
Taker.
Taker.
Taker. Taker. Senior decision takers.
I'm just a message taker.
A ticket taker at the recreation hall.
The policy of not doing deals with hostage takers.
Treatment for drug takers. Take up.
Take up.
Take-up for college places has been slow. Take-up for college places has been slow.
Takings.
Takings.
He counted the night's takings. Cinema box office takings in 2001 were £600 million. Talc.
Talc.
Talcum powder.
Talcum powder.
Tale.
Tail.
Tales of adventure.
A book of old Japanese folk tales.
A fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen.
A cautionary tale.
Tales of her life in post-war Berlin.
He was in the middle of telling me a long tale about how he once met Bob Dylan.
Don't go telling tales to the teacher.
The England team's tale of woe continued, and they lost the next 3 games.
Talent.
Talent.
He has a lot of talent, and his work is fresh and interesting.
She showed a talent for acting at an early age. A persuasive speaker with a natural talent for leadership.
His latest book reveals hidden talents.
Sadly, she inherited none of her father's musical talent.
Your brother is a man of many talents.
There's a wealth of talent in English football.
Britain's footballing talent. Talented.
Talented.
A talented actor.
Talentless.
Talentless.
A noisy, talentless band.
Talent scout.
Talent scout.
Talent spotting.
Talent spotting.
Talisman.
Talisman.
Talk.
Talk.
I could hear Sarah and Andy talking in the next room.
English people love to talk about the weather. All through the afternoon, they sat and talked about their trip.
She spent a long time talking to him.
She's very easy to talk to.
I got the truth from talking with Elena. They were talking together in the hall.
Sue and Bob still aren't talking.
They were talking in low voices, and I couldn't catch what they were saying.
We talked of old times.
Joe, we need to talk.
Is there somewhere we can talk in private?
You should talk to a lawyer. We've been talking about getting married.
Parents should talk with their children about drug abuse.
Let's not talk politics now, said Hugh impatiently.
She was talking so fast I could hardly understand her.
How do babies learn to talk?
Some residents were frightened to talk publicly. They started talking in Spanish. Don't let Dad hear you talking like that. Professor Davis will talk about trends in network computing. Even under torture, Maskell refused to talk. He tried to stop his ex-wife from talking on live TV.
We should stop meeting like this. People will talk.
You do talk rubbish sometimes, Jules. She hoped Father McCormack would be able to talk some sense into her son.
What did you say? Sorry, I was just talking to myself.
I worked in hotels for years, so I know what I'm talking about. Talk about lucky. That's the second time he's won this week. Talking of Venice, have you seen the masks I bought there last year? What are you talking about? We got there in plenty of time.
Rob, I'm talking to you.
Both teams were talking trash on the court. She didn't talk the talk of feminism, but her career was the most important thing in her life.
I'm not talking about ancient history, I'm talking about last season's performance.
Fancy an ice cream? Now you're talking. Peggy shouldn't smoke so much. Look who's talking.
To do a proper job, you're talking £750 minimum.
She's good at talking her way out of trouble.
Stop talking in riddles and explain what's going on.
The president is talking tough on crime.
Are you two going to talk shop all night?
Leave Betty to me. I'll soon talk her round.
They had spent half the night talking round the subject.
The pessimists who were talking down Britain.
The students felt that they were talked down to, as though they were children.
My husband talked me into going skiing.
We need to spend a little time talking this out. It might help if you talked it out with Dad.
The Land Protection Bill was talked out by MPs from rural areas.
Can't you talk them out of selling the house?
Talk over any worries with your GP.
Allow time to talk through any areas of difficulty.
Trevor talked me through loading the software.
I can't talk to the technical aspects of the proposal, but it sounds in general like a good idea.
Jones talked up the idea at the meeting.
After a long talk, we decided on divorce. John, I'd like to have a talk with you. We must have a talk about money. The peace talks look promising. The president held talks with Chinese officials. Talks with the rebels have failed. An entertaining talk.
A talk on local history.
Dr. Howard will give a talk on herbal medicine.
Tickets sold so quickly, there's talk of a second concert.
The administration's talk of reducing weapons.
There's talk that she's difficult to work with.
It's just talk. He'll never do it. That's enough of that kind of talk.
Persuasive sales talk.
That's fighting talk from Italy's manager. She's the talk of London's theatre-goers since her last performance.
Talkative.
Talkative.
Talkback.
Talkback.
Talkboard. Talkboard.
Talker.
Talker.
Media people need to be good talkers and skilled negotiators.
Mum thinks he's a smooth talker.
Talkfest.
Talkfest.
His radio show has always been an enjoyable talkfest.
Talkie.
Talkie.
Talking book.
Talking book.
Talking head.
Talking head.
Talking point.
Talking point.
Talking shop.
Talking shop.
Talking to.
Talking to.
Talk radio.
Talk radio.
Talk show.
Talk show.
A talk show host.
Talk time.
Talk time.
The battery allows approximately 135 minutes of talk time. Tall.
Tall.
He was young and tall.
A house surrounded by tall trees.
This bush grows tall very quickly.
He's only 5 feet tall.
How tall is that building?
She's a little taller than her sister.
Finding a replacement is going to be a tall order.
Tall boy.
Tall boy.
Tallow.
Tallow.
Tall poppy syndrome.
Tall poppy syndrome. Tall ship.
Tall ship.
Tally.
Tally.
The final tally was $465,000.
The 2 goals that took his tally for Scotland to 15.
Keep a tally of the number of cars that pass.
Some of the records held by the accounts department did not tally.
The number of ballot papers did not tally with the number of voters.
Talmud.
Talmud.
Talon.
Talon.
Tamarind.
Tamarind.
Tambourine.
Tambourine.
Tame.
Tame.
Tame elephants.
Most of the criticism has been pretty tame. I decided that teaching was too tame for me. If you have a tame doctor, he might give you a sick note. The Prime Minister managed to tame the trade unions. The Asian elephant can be tamed and trained.
Tamoxifen.
Tamoxifen.
Tamp.
Tamp.
The old man tamped down the tobacco with his thumb.
Tampax.
Tampax.
Tamper.
Tamper.
He noticed that the instruments had been tampered with.
I don't see the point in tampering with a system that's worked fine so far. I don't see the point in tampering with a system that's worked fine so far.
Tamper evident.
Tamper evident.
Tamper-proof.
Tamper-proof.
Tamper resistant.
Tamper resistant.
Tampon.
Tampon.
Tan.
Tan.
She has a pale skin, which doesn't tan easily.
I wish I could get a tan like that. Tan shoes.
She arrived home tan and rested. Tandem.
Tandem.
The two companies often work in tandem.
The group operated in tandem with local criminals.
Tandoori.
Tandoori.
A tandoori restaurant.
Tandoori chicken.
Tang.
Tang.
The beer had a sharp, bitter tang.
The salty tang of the sea.
The tang of fresh lemons. Tangy orange cake.
Tangent.
Tangent.
Let's stay with the topic and not go off at a tangent.
Tangential.
Tangential.
The matter you raise is rather tangential to this discussion.
Tangerine.
Tangerine.
Tangible.
Tangible.
The scheme must have tangible benefits for the unemployed. He has no tangible evidence of John's guilt.
The silence of the countryside was almost tangible.
Tangle.
Tangle.
My hair tangles easily.
His parachute became tangled in the wheels of the plane. It was not an animal you'd care to tangle with. Her hair was full of tangles after being out in the wind.
John was sitting on the floor in a tangle of blankets.
She followed him, pushing through the dense tangle of bushes and branches.
Her brain was teeming with a whole tangle of emotions.
She got into a tangle with the staff.
Tangled.
Tangled.
Your bedclothes are all tangled up. He had hair like tangled string.
The tangled web of local politics.
Tangled emotions.
Tango.
Tango.
Tank.
Tank.
The water tank is leaking.
Somehow the chemical got from a storage tank into water supplies. The plane's fuel tank.
We set off next day on a full tank.
A tank full of petrol.
Sales can't keep going up, but that doesn't mean the industry is going in the tank.
Not long after the chairman resigned, shares in the company tanked.
His last film tanked in the States, but did well in the UK.
Tankard.
Tankard.
Tanked up.
Tanked up.
He went down the pub and got tanked up. Tanker.
Tanker.
Tankini.
Tankini.
Tank top.
Tank top.
Tanned.
Tanned.
He had a tough tanned face and clear eyes.
Tanner.
Tanner.
Tannery.
Tannery.
Tannin.
Tannin.
Tannoy.
Tannoy.
The train's approach was announced over the tannoy.
Tanorexic. Tanorexic.
Tantalize.
Tantalize.
Tantalizing.
Tantalizing.
The tantalizing smell of fried bacon. She was tantalizingly out of reach.
Tantamount.
Tantamount.
To leave a dog home alone is tantamount to cruelty.
Mount. Tantrum.
Tantrum.
She throws a tantrum when she can't have the toy she wants.
Children's temper tantrums.
Tau.
Tau.
Taoism.
Taoism.
Tap.
Tap.
Tap water is usually heavily treated with chemicals. She went into the bathroom and turned on the taps. I wash my hands under the kitchen tap.
She felt a tap on her shoulder. There was a tap at the door.
We've got all the information on tap.
The police had put a tap on his phone line.
He turned as someone tapped him on the shoulder.
I went up and tapped on the window.
Mark tapped his fingers on the tabletop impatiently.
She tapped ash from her cigarette.
She tapped her feet in time to the music.
A toe-tapping tune.
People are tapping into the power supply illegally.
We hope that additional sources of funding can be tapped.
Your advisor's experience is there to be tapped.
Helping people tap into training opportunities.
Murray's phone calls to Australia were tapped.
Tap in your password before you log on.
He whistled the tune and tapped out the rhythm.
Brian tapped out a name on his small electronic organizer.
Tapas.
Tapas.
Tap dancing.
Tap dancing.
Tape.
Tape.
We've got the film on tape.
I hate hearing my voice on tape.
I'll listen to the tape tomorrow.
William lent me some of his Beatles tapes.
We played a tape of African music and began dancing.
Bring me a blank tape and I'll record it for you.
A photo stuck to the wall with tape.
Crime scene tape marked out the position of the murdered man.
Would you mind if I taped this conversation?
Quiet. The machine's still taping.
There were 2 pictures taped to the side of the fridge. His ankle had been taped.
You can't fool Liz. She's got you taped.
Tape deck.
Tape deck.
Tape measure.
Tape measure.
Taper.
Taper.
His wide chest tapers to a small waist.
Long tapering fingers.
Profits may be tapering off in the near future.
Small boys holding lighted tapers.
The box contained a taper to light each firework.
Tape record.
Tape record.
Tape recorder.
Tape recorder.
Tape recording.
Tape recording.
The court heard tape recordings of the meeting.
Tapered.
Tapered.
Tapered trousers.
Tapestry.
Tapestry.
A colourful tapestry depicting a hunting scene.
This was all new to her, part of life's rich tapestry.
Tapeworm.
Tapeworm.
Tapioca.
Tapioca.
Taper.
Taper.
Taproot.
Taproot.
Tap water.
Tap water.
Tar.
Tar.
High tar cigarettes.
A tarred roof.
You've made it very clear that you think I'm tarred with the same brush as William.
Taramasalata.
Taramasalata.
Tarantella.
Tarantella.
Tarantula.
Tarantula.
Tardy.
Tardy.
Do please forgive this tardy reply. He's been tardy 3 times this semester.
People who are tardy in paying their bills.
Tear.
Tear.
Target.
Target.
Demanding financial targets.
The target of a 1/3 reduction in road accidents.
Higher degrees in English are a target for foreign students.
There is no target date for completion of the new project.
The government may fail to meet its target of recycling 25% of domestic waste. Jiang set annual growth targets of 8 to 9%. The company says that growth of 10% is on target.
Railway stations are prime targets for bombs.
Cars without security devices are an easy target for the thief. The area has become a prime target for supermarket development. The country is a target of criticism for its human rights record. The area is used by the army for target practice.
Our target audience is men aged between 18 and 35. The advertisement was designed to target a mass audience.
A new benefit targeted on low-income families. The programme is targeted at improving the health of women of all ages.
The missiles are targeted at several key military sites.
It's clear that smaller, more vulnerable banks have been targeted.
He was targeted by terrorists for a second time last night. Tariff.
Tariff.
The government may impose tariffs on imports.
Tarmac.
Tarmac.
Journalists waited on the tarmac to question him.
Tarn.
Tarn.
Tarnish.
Tarnish.
His regime was tarnished by human rights abuses.
Gold does not tarnish easily.
Tarnished silver spoons.
Taro.
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 Tarpaulin.
Tarpaulin.
Tarragon.
Tarragon.
Chicken with tarragon.